said to my grandchildren, I've got a surprise for you. Granny, you don't give surprises on your birthday, I guess I don't.
This story is another feminist fairy tale, and of course, what better feminist to put at the centre of it than Lynda herself. This is a story about a young girl who went to visit her granny. Nothing unusual about that. In fact, perhaps you're thinking, I know this one. There's a forest and a wolf and a red cape with a hood. Maybe. Except this was no ordinary girl, and her granny was no ordinary granny. Let me explain. Amber set off through the woods one day to visit Granny Lynda, not too far away. A basket of scones tucked under her arm, she skipped through the trees without fear of harm. For since Granny Lynda had been here 35 years, the wolves had mysteriously all disappeared. So Amber arrived and headed inside. "Oh, Granny," she called, "it's me, I've arrived." Lynda's was full of wonderful things. Books, posters, photos of the sights she had seen. Amber loved to explore them, but today she did head straight for a little box high up on a ledge. She brought it to the table with an excited grin. "Granny, please tell me about all your badges and what each one means." Lynda opened the box, and there inside were her badges and pins of every colour and size. She laid them out carefully, and her heart filled with pride. "Okay," she declared, "where shall we start, dear? You can decide." "What's this one with the scissors that's almost worn through?" This one is for work. For the first job I had when I wasn't much older than you was making scissors, hammering, drilling and more. It's for long days, camaraderie and lessons learnt on the factory floor. It's for workers and the struggle for freedom from capitalism's chains. So my scissors remind me of the place from which I came. Amber grinned. "And this one, Granny, the stunning red rose?" "Well, that's for my mother, whose values I chose to follow in my life, her example so strong, as a communist fighting a world gone wrong." "And the one with the red star, Granny, what's that one about?" "Well, that's for my politics, dear, of which you can be in no doubt. In the Communist Party for 48 years, I can proudly say. I went to the Soviet Union and Cuba and saw a different way." "And here, what's on this one? I can't quite tell." "Well, that's a pen and a placard. You should know very well, for words and protest are tools by which the revolution grows." "I know, Granny," smiled Amber. "Sure, everyone knows. You'll be down the town on a Saturday marching, taking a stand, with a bundle of unity papers gripped tight in your hand." "But what about this one? It looks like a cow." "Well, that's for the women's movement. Let me tell you how we marched through Belfast with this four-legged beast against Maggie Thatcher Milk Snatcher. May she never rest in peace. And that was just the beginning of all we achieved. The women's rights movement, women's centres, building peace, teaching women's studies. I made lifelong friends. Even stood for election, though I didn't win in the end. "Probably a good thing, Granny," Amber exclaimed, "for you'd have decked out Paisley or called them some choice names." "And what's this one with the heart and the tear?" Lynda sighed. "That's for the loved ones lost over the years, for those who nursed me in their arms and I nursed in mine, and for the beauty of family that grows over time. You and Charlotte and Sebby. And could we get a cheer for the brave, strong Daniela? Wish you were here." "And what's this one? Two links in a chain holding tight." "Well, that is for Margaret, for together we live, dance, laugh and fight as comrades and best friends. A sister is a precious gem. There's nothing you can't do when you've got one of them." Then Amber pulled out one last badge from the tin, a heart with another heart drawn within. "What's this?" she asked, and Lynda smiled as she took it from her hand. "That's for your granddad and the adventures we've had. Friends for many years, but no romance back in '67. Sure, he was just a wee lad when I met him. But then back in Sheffield, '88, he was up chairing a meeting. He wasn't half bad, and my heart started beating." "But Granny, you're a fierce, independent, feminist queen. What did you need with a husband, even one so keen?" "Well, Amber, my dear, when it comes to this life, another heart that hears yours is well worth all the strife. Now come on, get these tidied up. I've a job for you. There's a village not far from here has a wolf on the loose." So armed with a bow each and arrows to boot, the two fierce warriors headed out to the woods. But first they each tied on a cape of bright red and pulled their hoods high up over their heads. With their hammer and sickle stamped on the back shining bright, Lynda Red Riding Hood and Amber took off into the night.